What's up, y'all? My name is Chef Tierra. Today I'm repping We Vibe, To Vibe. We're gonna have something extra special for you today. We're gonna be making shrimp and grits, one of my favorite southern staples. Great for lunch, dinner, whatever you like. Stay tuned. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is wash our hands, right? Safety first. So the first thing we're gonna start is our polenta for our shrimp and grits. So first thing we have here, we have 1 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of whole milk. So we're gonna warm that up, get that nice and hot, ready for our polenta. So today we're working with yellow corn grits, also known as polenta. It's the same thing, it's just a different size of the grain. So we have 3/4 of a cup. We're gonna work with that. Get this nice and warm. We're gonna add about a teaspoon of iodized salt, just your regular table salt. We're gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. You wanna make sure you season your milk nice and right, so you have nice and tasty grits. So we're gonna use a whisk. This is one of my favorite kitchen tools. So versatile, you can do whatever you want with it. It's good for making sure you have nice and creamy polenta. You want to make sure that your polenta is nice and creamy. So we're gonna let that get nice and warm. Gonna work that. So it's gonna take about a minute or two, but you're gonna start to see small bubbles forming on the surface. So at that point, that's when you know you're gonna be ready to add your polenta. So we got probably about another 20 seconds or so here. You see the bubbles starting to come. Almost there. Alright. So when you add your polenta, you want to make sure you turn your fire down to about a medium. So most ranges it's about like a 4 or 5. So you want to, while you're whisking, slowly add your polenta, because if you add it too fast, it's gonna clump. And you don't want clumpy polenta. You want it to be nice and creamy, so it tastes good. So you also don't want your flame too high, because the polenta will stick to the bottom and it'll burn. You don't want that. So make sure your heat is nice and medium. You just want to nicely whisk it slow, give it time to incorporate, and it'll start to thicken up a little bit. If your bubbles start to go crazy, you could always turn it down a little bit. But like you'll see, it'll start to thicken up. This is starting to thicken up a little bit. You want to keep working it. You can always adjust your flame as needed. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but it's starting to thicken up nicely. So we got about another minute or so. We'll let it go. So we're just about there. You can see it's starting to bubble up a little bit. It thickens nicely. You can see your whisk marks left as you're whisking. That's how you know that you've gotten the correct thickness. So at this point, we're going to turn it down a little bit. And then you want to add 2 tablespoons of butter. What the butter does is it kind of softens it up a little bit, gives it a little bit of texture, makes it nice and velvety and smooth. So you want to slowly whisk that in gently. Take a about 10 to 15 seconds, not too long, just until the butter nicely melts. Then you want to take your cheddar cheese. At this point, you want to turn your flame all the way down low. You want to take your sharp cheddar. This is about half a cup, and we're going to slowly incorporate that in there. And then we're just going to gently whisk that in. You don't want to boil your grits with the cheese in it, because then the cheese becomes gritty and it really ruins that nice and smooth texture that you worked so hard to this point to get to. So you just want to stir that until it's just melted, and then you want to kill the flame. Now we're going to give it a taste, see what it's talking about. So good, so good. I'm telling you guys. So at this point, this is when you want to adjust your seasoning. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt. You get that nice saltiness from the cheddar cheese. You get the creaminess from the milk and the butter. It's good stuff, guys. So we're going to set this to the side, and we're going to start our shrimp. Alright guys, so now we're going to get started on our shrimp for our shrimp and grits. So right here I have 1620 shrimp. So just so you know, learning curve right here. So 1620, that means that there's 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. So the larger the number, the smaller the shrimp is going to be. The smaller the number, the bigger the shrimp are going to be. So these are about a medium to large size shrimp. So we have Cajun spice, and we have about 6 of our 16 to 20 shrimp. We're going to take about half a tablespoon and season our shrimp with our Cajun spice. Ooh, got it. We're going to take about a half teaspoon of salt and season that, and then we're going to take about a couple shakes of pepper, just a taste, maybe about a pinch. So we're going to mix that together really well. Make sure that's nice and combined. Alright. So now we have about a medium-sized saute pan. I have my heat on a medium-high. We're going to get it nice and warm, right? So I have 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to add that in. It's going to sizzle nicely for you. Kind of want to get your pan working a little bit. Make sure it's covered all the way around. You don't want to have any spots that are not covered in butter. So let that get nice and warm. We're going to take our shrimp and add them one at a time. You hear that nice sizzle? Guys, it smells so good. I wish you could smell this right now. Like, you guys have to try this at home. I'm telling you, your family will love it. So we're going to let those go nicely, and you can see that the outsides of the shrimp are starting to turn white a little bit. That's how you're going to know that your shrimp is cooked on one side. You kind of swirl that butter around. You want to keep a rolling sizzle. Like, you want your pan to be making some noise. You want to create a nice color on that shrimp. You want to see that nice, beautiful white, the beautiful red from the Cajun spice. You want it to look decent. So we're going to let that go for about another 15 or 20 seconds, and then we're going to flip them, and we're going to cook them for another minute or so. Alright, so now we're about ready to flip our shrimp. So we're going to go ahead and flip. You see you got that beautiful color from that Cajun spice coming through. You guys hear that sizzle? I know you hear it. Sounds good, right? This looks almost as good as it sounds and smells. Almost. I'm telling you guys, you gotta try this at home. So we're gonna let that go about another 30 seconds or so. And that Cajun spice is also flavoring that butter, so you're gonna get all those good notes of the cayenne and all the spices that are going on in that Cajun spice that are also gonna flavor your butter that you can mix up with your grits and make it so yummy. So let that go about another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll be ready to plate. So we're gonna take this yummy polenta that we just made. See how nice and creamy that is? It's like a pillow in your mouth. So we're gonna ladle that right in the middle. Think about it as like if you want to lay in the middle of your bed, right? Like how big of a bed would you want to lay in? That's how much polenta you need to put on the plate. So that's a pretty decent sized bed for me. So I'm gonna take my shrimp now and just lay them around the bed. We're gonna do all 6 shrimp. And then we're gonna take a little bit of that butter with that delicious Cajun seasoning and just layer it on there like that. Man, it looks so good, guys. And then I have a little bit of green onions right here that I chopped up. So we're just gonna sprinkle it on top. A nice little garnish, just like that. Beautiful, voila. You got dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever you like. Alright guys, thank you so much again for hanging out with me. Again, my name is Chef Tierra, founder of Food for Life. You can find me on the gram at Chef Tierra, Tierra 23. So holla at me. Thank you so much for your time. We're gonna see y'all again real soon.